Hi, my name's Ed Paxton, and I'm here to talk a bit about how I know Matthew. And this is partly following on from Brian's video, and he made a call to suggest that other people who know Matthew could post a video so that because not everybody knows how respectively other people know Matthew, and globally there were lots of people involved at the moment in supporting Matthew. And I'm here today in Norwich in England, in the United Kingdom, and here I am on the bank of the River Wensum, and in fact in the background is the 11th Norwich Sea Scout headquarters. And some of you may not know this, but Matthew was, and in some respects still is, in the 11th Norwich Sea Scouts. And well, we're going back to around 89, 1989 through to about 1993, 94, I'd say. So I thought it'd be a nice place to shoot this short film. And it's a lovely day here in Norwich. It's a Sunday and it's bright sunshine, hence I'm squinting slightly. Now, as to how I know Matthew, well, we met in around 1985, 31 years ago, at a primary school in Norwich, here in Norwich. And I remember going to Matthew's different houses and playing with Matthew, and he used to take great interest in doing things like dismantling cathode ray tube television sets with a screwdriver and a hammer, and talking to me about televisions, how they work, and other things like digging holes and going on missions. And we'd do all sorts of things after school and at weekends. And as the years rolled on, we'd do other things, like we'd have fires, we'd play with explosives, and we'd get up to all sorts, play with knives and guns, and we went to Sea Scouts. But in fact, Matthew went to Sea Scouts before I did, and then encouraged me to join in, which I did. I was slightly intimidated initially because it was a big troop at that time. There was about 45 boys in the 11th Norwich Sea Scouts here on the river, and it was every Friday, and we'd be doing all sorts, boating on the river, canoeing, and there was the occasional glue sniffer on the banks. But they've cleaned it up a bit around here lately. The water quality's okay. In fact, this river here supplies much of the drinking water for Norwich. It is, of course, processed by the water treatment works back there. And that was one of our school trips, actually. Matthew and I went on. I remember that. It was about 1987, probably. And we went on a trip to the waterworks, where we found out that some of the water's treated in chemically, and others through sand beds. But most of it now is treated chemically. Someone's passing on a canoe there, which is jolly nice, and rather pleasant day to be on the water. So then Matthew, I, and our peer group of friends went on to secondary school, and I went to a different secondary school, which was a shame, actually. I would have liked to have joined Matthew at the big school, the Hewitt School, in Norwich. And there Matthew immersed himself in his studies, and we continued to have fun, meeting up after school and so on. And then Matthew went on to university, and we kept in touch. And I noticed Matthew had a growing interest in Japan, and we would meet up in Norwich, and he would do things like go to the Japanese Institute, and he'd also be doing some language teaching. And I think this process led him eventually to Japan. And then recently I met up with Matthew in Norwich, and this was where he received the news and the diagnosis after scans, and he decided to return to Japan as quickly as possible to start the treatment. And then a few weeks later, I went out to Japan, and I was very fortunate to stay with Matthew and his family in Tokyo, in the southwestern area of Tokyo, towards Yokohama, and it was an absolutely eye-opening experience, massively broadening my own perspective, and it was also an important time to be there with Matthew as he was starting treatment. And yeah, so I'm just here to say hello to everyone, and to say hi to Matthew, and very much hope the second round of chemo has fewer side effects and is easier to manage over the coming days. And we're all here supporting you, so thank you for listening to this short film, and I hope you enjoy it to a certain extent. So goodbye for now.